So we've got a saying around here. When you hear somebody say they had a time with that don't mean they had fun. It means they struggled. We had a time with strawberries this year. Just about all of the tips that you're gonna get are grown in Canada. And when I say tips, the daughter plants that come off of the mother plant of strawberry, they're grown in Canada because in Canada they have such a dry climate that they don't have near the disease pressure that we have here. So they grow the plants out up there, they cut the tips off, bag them up, and ship them down to all these little nurseries everywhere. And when they get to the nurseries, they do what's called sticking, and they fill the flats with soil and they stick a tip in each cell of the flat, or they'll plant them on a bed, and a sterilized bed that's been fumigated, and grow them out until they get a good established root system on it, and then they dig those up and sell them as bare roots, or the tips are stuck in flats and they're sold as plug flats, which is what we buy. Plug flats are more expensive, but they will hit the ground running a lot better than cutoffs or bare root plants. So that's what we have always planted, has been plugs. So the nursery that we originally started getting them from is one of the biggest around here anyway. They got good clean tips from Canada, and we always got decent quality plants from them with no disease problems. Sometimes they were a little smaller than what we'd like. The roots were a little underdeveloped, I think, just because they're trying to move so many plants in and out of that nursery as quickly as possible. The customer service there was not ever what it should have been. Communication wasn't good, and they just weren't very friendly or helpful. So that's a big deal to me. Customer service is make or break. Your product comes kind of secondary to the customer service for me, and I feel like a lot of other people as well. So because of the customer service, we started looking for another strawberry nursery, and we found out about a place in the mountains of North Carolina that started their own tips. They had their own plants, did their own, cut their own tips off the plants and stuck them. And I guess the thinking was that they were up high enough in the mountains, the climate was dry enough that they would have less disease problems, and I think they did for a number of years. But they sold a ton of plants to Florida, and the story that I got was that semi trucks coming from Florida brought a disease that's native to Florida into this strawberry nursery, and it's a pretty detrimental disease. He had had some of this disease that had only ever been found in Florida on strawberry farms show up in his nursery. Well, when you start getting major diseases in your nursery, especially when all your stock that you're starting with is located in this nursery, that's a really big problem. So last year was the first year that he really had a lot of that disease show up in his plants that he was selling, and he kind of kept it under control, but a lot of it ended up getting out and getting planted across our state. Well, this year apparently it had gotten worse in his stock. We had a rain event come through the mountains. I can't remember if it was a hurricane that hit the Gulf and came up across the country or what, but they got certain places in the mountains got up like 6 inches of rain, and that's a big problem up there because their elevation changes. All the water runs to the bottom. They had massive flooding. He lost millions of plants, and so here we are 3 weeks before we're getting ready to plant strawberries, and we get a call, I'm not going to have any strawberry plants for you. So we were freaking out because nurseries typically you have to order your plants about June in order to get them the end of September. So we scrambled around trying to find some plants, and we found a nursery in Virginia that grew some plants out for us. It put us about 4 weeks behind. Wasn't their fault, because they just, I mean, the weather had already changed, and they had to order tips last minute from Canada. They had to be shipped in, they had to stick them, and they had to get roots on them. So we were able to get plants, but it's really put us pretty far behind. So hopefully we're going to make a decent crop. We're still got some mild weather. We're not getting too cold yet, so we're hoping we can get these things in gear. I do have some row covers coming here. They should be here this week, actually. As long as the weather stays mild like it is, I mean, as long as the days are still reasonably long. We got like somewhere around 11 hours of daylight right now. And as long as we're getting highs in the 60s, 50s, we're going to let them ride and see how they grow. But if it starts turning off cold, we're going to throw some covers on these things and try to do the old greenhouse effect and really get them in gear. Because as I mentioned before, we like for our strawberry plants to be the size of a pie pan by the middle of December. If there's that much foliar growth on them, we know there's going to be enough crowns to really make a good crop for us in the spring. So, I guess the point of this is the grass may not always be greener on the other side of the fence. I think we're probably going to go back to where we used to get plants from when we started, because we never had any disease issues. Customer service could certainly be better, but the quality product, when your livelihood's on the line, quality product is more important than somebody being nice. So I think we can apply that to other areas in our lives in this country right now, but we won't go there. So I think from now on we'll probably go back to where we had gotten them from originally. Nothing against the nursery in Virginia that we got plants from this year, but the nursery that we had started with originally, really big. We never had any problem getting plants on time, and they were always really good quality. I think we'll go back there in the future. Anyhow, I just wanted to fill y'all in on where we're at on our strawberry crop and how we got to this point of being a month behind on them. So I was checking through some analytics the other day, and I noticed that 70% of the people watching my videos are not subscribed. It's really easy, and it doesn't cost a dime. Right here at the end of this video, there's going to be a little round Cherry Hill Farm symbol. All you got to do is click on that, and you can subscribe. Help me continue to grow this channel so I can keep making good content. Based on a survey I put out recently, like 94% of the people watching my video say they farm and they're watching for helpful tips and hints and to learn. So that's kind of always been what I've tried to focus on with this channel, is just to make content to help people learn. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. There's a whole lot of stuff about fruit and vegetable farming that I don't know. I'll be the first to admit that. But it's a steep learning curve, and if someone is one step ahead of you on that steep ladder, it's always helpful to get some advice from somebody that can help you get to that next rung, maybe save you some money or keep you from losing some money. So that's my goal here with this channel, is just to help other produce farmers, because there's really not a whole lot of content on YouTube about produce farming. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.